ASMR, but this is a familiar face. This face.
Hi, I'm back.
I just hit you in the face. We're doing great. I'm very hyper today, but we're supposed to talk about serious things.
Yeah, he's not making it any better for himself for the last 20 minutes.
We've been trying to record this for a while. It's like 1 a.m, so we're doing great. Honestly, for this one, let's just chat. So Ken is gonna whisper on this side of the microphone. He's gonna whisper on this side of the microphone, and then I'm gonna whisper on this side of the microphone. This side of the microphone. So if you want, you can just sit back, relax, and this whole conversation can be mindless. No, you don't even have to think about it. But if you want to pay attention, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about, it's going to be, you've seen me do a lot of mental health videos where it's just me talking about it, but I thought it'd be interesting given the fact that we are best friends and it's a topic that we discuss a lot. I wanted to kind of touch upon or kind of present to you guys what one of our conversations about like mental health and our own personal journeys and how those journeys kind of interact like with us being friends. So you had some areas that you wanted to kind of touch on, and I think I can accentuate or add to those. Did you want to elaborate on?
Okay, so basically for me, for the most part, I think most of my life, I don't think I had any serious mental issues with pretty much anything, but
I said a little jealous, but
last year, a lot of things happened in my life, and yeah, it was like, if I like explain a little bit more, like in detail, there's this girl I knew, I'm still friends with, by the way, disclaimer, and she and I have history, and long story short, she messed me up, so
classic.
very classic, right? But from there, even during the time I knew her, like towards the end of the time that we were, I guess, together, I went through a bunch of changes in terms of my mental state, and it became pretty bad. And I think last year, around August, was like, there was like a time where I had a mental breakdown, and that was rough, but I pulled through. Well, I kind of shut myself out from friends for like a whole week, but then I eventually had them contact me because they were worried, so I pulled through that. And for last year, I think that was like about as bad as they got, but this year, for the longest time, I thought my love language was, physical touch.
But we both realized that we are both of our top languages are words of affirmation. Do you know what your number 2 is?
I'm pretty sure my number 2 is physical touch.
Okay, physical touch is my number 4.
Interesting. Wait, how do you even rank these?
There's a test that you can take online called like your 5 love languages, and they'll rank it based on what you prefer. And I think especially before you get into a romantic relationship with someone, I did this with the last person that I dated. We both shared what our love languages were so that she and I could communicate better to how the other person enjoyed being loved, because it's one thing that it's very nice to have someone approach you in a way that they know you enjoy being loved, but also being very cognizant of how your partner likes to be loved. Whether, so the last person I dated, like both of us actually had her physical touch was like in the middle for her. Her physical touch is almost last for me, but both of us had the same last one, which was we both dislike receiving gifts. Those were both of our lowest ones, and then our top two were like flipped. Like my top two is words of affirmation and then quality time, and then hers was quality time and words of affirmation. So that made things a little bit easier because our perception of how we like to be loved was pretty reciprocal. So it was easy to recreate that, and you didn't have to think too much about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, like I said, I thought for the longest time, not that I've really taken the test or anything, but for the longest time, I thought that my love language was, oh yeah, we ate dinner like an hour and a half ago-ish.
Nah, it's been like 2.5.
Oh yeah, we went to IHOP and we went...
IHOP. We ate pancakes is a good trigger word, I think. Just say pancake, but we also ate omelets, and toast. You had bacon, and I had sausage.
Bacon.
2 pieces of bacon, 2 pieces of sausage.
Bacon.
Sounds like you're saying begging.
Bacon.
Which almost sounds like the Hindi word for eggplant. But that's a different thing. It's a different thing. But yeah, so let's bring it back. So a lot of your mental health journey really started with unnamed girl.
Yes.
But with what you've been telling me this week, how did you get from that point to this point? Because the point that you're at right now isn't very related to your romantic relationships necessarily, rather than your really feelings about your perception of your own self and your own successes.
Yeah, so like I said, for the longest time, I thought my love language was physical touch, and I mean, this meant that the time I was dating a girl, like I really just, like I said, enjoyed that. But I don't know, especially since the end of last year, well, the middle of last year, I noticed a change where I'm not too sure if you're aware, but both of us are dancers, and especially for me, I'm in.
Follow us on TikTok.
We'll continue. So I was a part of several crews. Right now, I'm just focusing on just one crew, but more than the crew, I'm trying to focus on myself. When I was in the crews, I was focused on, team dancing and just being part of a big team. And it's nice to be a part of a big team, especially if the team is a sizable, like a good size, to where it's not too many people and it's like almost like a family, which to me I still think they are to me. But I noticed from the middle of last year, around the time when me and that girl's relationship really started going downhill, that I really wanted my own craft to really get somewhere, that I wanted my own name to, be something that could be recognized by other people. And from the end of last year to like this entire year, there's a girl in my crew that I'm like super best friends with, and we talk every single day. She's been motivating me to really pursue what I really want to, try, which is, like I said, having my name known as a dancer, because she has big aspirations too. So we tell each other, let's go for what we really want. But with that being said, I noticed, this year that I keep trying, and it just feels like my resilience isn't strong enough for anticipating the fact that it would really be like a smooth road towards, getting yourself recognized, by the public. So basically, especially like the last 2 months, I've been kind of struggling mentally with coping with the fact that I have to be, patient and, persevere through long times of not seeing, any success in getting yourself out there. Like I said earlier, both of us have TikTok, and on TikTok, I have not really had that much success except for there's these 2 videos, but I don't really count those because
some controversy
that I didn't even expect would happen with those 2 videos, but yeah, a bunch of nasty stuff happened, so I don't really count those. But besides that, I cannot recall like a super positive experience from putting something on TikTok.
I feel like your experience with that feeling isn't limited to just TikTok, though. I would say you felt that way about Instagram as well.
Yeah, same for Instagram too. It's like, I know for TikTok it's a different world than Instagram. And on Instagram, obviously I have all my dance friends, like people that I know from my group, people that I know from, the city, the state that I'm in. And it's just all these different dancers that I feel like, in my opinion, are, doing way better than I am in terms of doing something about their dance career.
Just getting their name out there.
Especially recently, within the last 2-3 weeks alone, there's been a few guys that have been really seeing a surge in terms of how successful they are. And, I'm really happy for them too. They really deserve it because they're really talented. It's just for me, like I said, because my love language is words of affirmation, just seeing the opposite happen, just even if I don't want to admit it, I guess I do have to say that it does hurt quite a bit, and after experiencing this for months, it's like something that I know I have to have more patience, and ideally have the mindset where you have to be okay for it happening for years. But, obviously easier said than done, so I just feel like I had a really tough time these past couple weeks, especially I'd say this past week. I had a really tough time just coping with that mentally. But now, especially like today, for example, I feel much better. I've been giving. Sorry.
You're okay.
I'll compensate with this. Compensate. I'll continue. So, today, just been giving a lot of thought about what I should do. Nothing's really, set out for me to where, I know for sure this path will get me to this destination, because nothing in life is certain, right? But I have ideas. I just need to remember that, it won't always be a smooth path.
It's not. The journey's always far from linear.
Exactly. So, I could really only hope for myself that this all pass eventually. I won't say soon, because no way to tell if it's gonna be soon, but I do hope it will eventually pass. And my will right now is to have a strong enough will to know that, understand that, and continue. Because, it's always so easy to give, motivational advice to other people who are in, a similar situation. Be what matters is how you get back up. It's really easy to say that to other people. Not so easy to really apply to your own self if you're experiencing the same things. But me personally, I'm just gonna have to really keep on pushing and pushing. I mean, I'll probably...
That was you.
Sorry. I'm aware that I'm probably going to be experiencing, many more phases of sad about, my current state at that moment in my future, but one can only hope and push for the best that they are looking for in their life. So, yeah, that is my, ramble about my current life, mental state. But TLDR, I'm fine now.
Okay. So you feel better? Because this conversation, I guess this topic really came to a head maybe yesterday, because we both had rough weeks. I will touch on my situation. That video might be uploaded already, or I'm gonna talk about it individually in my own video. But yeah, let's talk about that feeling of inadequacy. But also, I think you brought up a good point of, I think when it comes to especially being a creative person, or any person who has any kind of drive and ambition for a specific goal in mind, it's you do become obsessed with what the journey is, but you also become very cognizant of other people who are taking on a similar journey, and it's easy to compare yourself to the successes and failures of other people. And I think it's something that you have to take with a grain of salt, that their journey isn't necessarily going to be like yours.
Especially, in my opinion, it's super hard. The worst thing, for both of us, because words of affirmation is our love languages. I think the worst thing that we see for ourselves, one of the worst things, is we try, we fail, and then we see the people around us to go in the complete opposite direction. That's about the most demotivating thing that we can see. So yeah, it is kind of a tough thing.
Yeah. The one thing for me, when I see someone being successful, I have to switch between two modes. Either it demotivates me and just be like, oh, shoot, they did it, how am I supposed to be able to recreate that? Or I get so competitive, how am I supposed to beat that? And I don't think either of those modes are necessarily great. I think the competitive mode is not a bad thing at the start, because it gives you the fuel to push yourself down the path a little more forward. But then you have to recalibrate what your motivations are for things, and make sure it's coming from a place of positivity, and a place where you're enabling yourself to be successful in a way that's healthy for yourself, in a long-term manner. So I think these are all things to be very aware and just be thoughtful about how you partake on the journey, and just understanding that what might take someone 6 months could take you 10 years, who knows, and having to be okay with it, and reminding yourself if these are truly the goals that I want, if this is truly what I'm setting out to succeed, other people's paths aren't going to define my own path. If it takes me that long to succeed, then so be it. If it's something that I truly want for myself, I'm gonna continue to work hard for it, even when it feels like it's hopeless. Yeah. You think that about does it for this one?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, for me, then I always keep reminding myself that there are always graver issues around the world, and again, I'm the type that I kinda just feel sad about that too, but then I think about, I have a weird mentality. I don't know if it's weird, but I have this mentality where, and this relates to the girl that I talked about at the very beginning. She really just changed my life views on many things, but the most drastic change. I am so sorry.
That's okay.
Let's continue.
Yeah.
The most drastic change that she brought up on me was just the fact that she made me view life in a really drastic, extreme spectrum that pulled me from here to here.
she was like very polarizing, or?
Well, yes, she was too, but it made me think of life in general as like a very macro thing, if that makes sense. I could think micro too, but macro is also something that I think a lot about, and something that motivates me when pretty much all else fails, basically, is I do it for the people that, weren't as fortunate to be able to do it, because I have to keep reminding myself that me living here, like breathing and being able to do this in the setting alone is like a gift, like to be alive and healthy, and to be able to do this with a best friend. So it's a gift that I should never forget. Very easy, really easy to forget it, especially for stress. And obviously I do forget it a lot of times, but almost every day when I wake up, especially, I do tend to think about, the fact that I shouldn't forget about that. And that's one. Two, when I say to for the people that aren't as fortunate, I think of, and I'm sorry if this is like touching buttons for some people, but like for example, Kobe Bryant, Gigi, or say like Chadwick Boseman, or like just any death that's happened, throughout this year from the virus, or let's say the wars that's been happening overseas, or any other sensitive political issue that I won't touch on because that's kind of sensitive topics, but I think about those people, think about every other person that's not been fortunate enough to live into this year also. And then obviously like the well-known, recognized celebrities that we unfortunately lost this year. I just think about them. Then I think, like in spirit, I want to carry on their souls into, my life, carry through, even if I think I can't. Because as Kobe Bryant said, Mamba, Alpha mentality. So, if there's a will, there's a way. My way to find my will is to mentally carry the souls and the wills of all those people that, have fallen up until this day. And of course I think about my parents, my grandparents, my family, relatives too. So those things, I think about life in general, and that is what pulls me through when nothing else could, really. So, that's something that pushes me through when all else fails. I don't know if that's too drastic for some of you guys, but I hope that that's something that you guys might be able to, try to think about and hopefully utilize even a bit of it into your everyday life, just as like a motivational point.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good spot to wrap up this video. If you do want to see more videos of us, or even just me, like individually talking more about, different aspects of like our mental health journeys, or if you ever want to hear me talk about my love life and how it's changed, like me, because I have a wild, decade-long story that I could talk about. No,
go for it. I'm just kidding.
I'm not about to do it right now. It would take like multiple videos. It would take like a couple hours. So
I think you guys will like it.
It's kind of crazy. It's a lot crazy. It might be one of the craziest stories you've heard, and I'm low-key glad it's over. But yeah, if you want to hear more videos like that, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. with another new video.